America needs a full-time president and a full-time Congress, particularly at this time with problems we face at home and abroad, to continue to fight through the months ahead for my personal vindication would almost totally absorb the time and attention of both the President and the Congress in a period when our entire focus should be on the great issues of peace abroad and prosperity without inflation at home. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
That was President Richard Nixon 44 years ago last night, as today marks the anniversary of the first and only time a president resigned from office, Joe. Wow.
Yeah, and Mika, you had said before that your father obviously knew Richard Nixon, and after his wife Pat died, that he actually came over to your house.
Yes.
And you remember seeing him as such a broken man.
Yeah, it was obviously, I think, the loss of his wife, but he was sitting on our porch in a chair that was sort of pulled out from the table with the setting sun behind him down the hill, and I sort of couldn't believe what I was seeing. So much history and so much turmoil for this country all wrapped up in his story.
But really, Willie, it's interesting. The only time that Richard Nixon broke down in public, that anybody saw him actually breaking down in public, was when his wife, Pat, died at the funeral. He broke down so much he was actually embarrassed about it later. But that 44 years ago, John Meacham says it's his first memory of any news event. That, despite the fact all he talks about is the French and Indian War. We wish he'd talk a little bit more about Watergate.
Yeah, Shays Rebellion comes up a lot with John Meacham. We'll introduce our panel in a minute. Walter Isaacson's here. The New York Times tweeted out their front page. It still takes your breath away for a second. President of the United States resigns from office.
Yeah, and the issue here is that it's so resonant with what's happening today. It's an obstruction of justice. It's a culture of corruption around them all. Nixon afterwards, I heard what Mika said, and I remember him visiting people like Zbigniew Brzezinski. But afterwards, Nixon became kind of a statesman. He loved talking about the world, doing discussions where he'd do these amazing tours of the horizon of the world. But during that time in office, he just became unhinged when it came to justice. And I think, you know, it's why history rhymes. We have to go back and look at things.
Well, Walt, thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.